Hello, YouTube fans and friends. Welcome back to Scourge of War Gettysburg Remastered Edition. I am your humble and gracious player host, Bank60s. Thanks for joining once more. I'm here today to do something that I've had a few requests about, a very few. We're a small channel here. By the way, if you would do me the favor, click the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, helps grow and gain exposure for all these videos, and thanks ahead of time for that. We're going to do a look at the campaign, sandbox campaign system in the game. It's pretty new. Let's just see what there is there and how similar it is perhaps to what some players watching might already know from the Waterloo sandbox campaign. And then for those players who've been eager to kind of learn exactly how to do and what to do, so we'll look at that here. We're not going to get back into that one. We'll start a brand new one. We'll play as the Confederates. We'll play with the standard build Gettysburg Campaign OOB, which will include all 3 infantry corps, along with artillery reserve, army artillery reserve, and Major General Nobody in command of Jeb Stuart's cavalry and Robert F. Beckham's artillery. That would be, I believe, the attached horse artillery. You may get to do things differently with Jeb Stuart's cavalry than was done in history, which were very key to the outcome of the campaign. If you don't know much about that, the personalities involved and what brigades went with the army and which ones went with Jeb Stuart on his reconnoiter around the Union Army in Pennsylvania and Maryland, I highly suggest that you educate yourself, because there was a lot of petty political BS involved and how that all came together. And here you are, say, with a chance to change history right then and there. Let's do orange. Okay. I think that'll give us a whole lot of room to work with. And we'll stick with destroy the enemy. This will be campaign how to. So here you see right off the bat, Confederate Army, but you have, so it's not General Robert E. Lee, but you have 69,117 men to work with. That is representative of an army in the Gettysburg campaign for the Confederates. Here we go. There's General Lee on travel. All right, so let's look at our order of battle. We got General Robert E. Lee here. You see the whole army. Okay. Now, from this point, the way that I've understood the game is effectively it's a matter of selecting a command. Let's just say we want to get General Nobody on the move with the cavalry. So we will detach him and we will go to General Nobody, and you'll see he's selected now with the full cavalry division plus artillery of about 7,800 men. And the next thing we'll do is send them. In my experience with Waterloo, you select on the name of the town. Ah, no, okay. So he'll go not just to the town, but he'll go a little past it to here, it looks like. So let's go back to our OOB again. By the way, these are your battles buttons. Here is where you see the objectives list, and this really matters more when you're in conquer mode, conquer the map mode. It helps, too, if you're not quite sure where the enemy armies are, you can bring up this list, and it'll tell you where the enemy is located. And then, obviously, you have your stats button or status button for whichever unit or formation you have selected. And I would say General Nobody is not anybody that we want to have actually in command of troops on the battlefield. We'll let Jeb and the rest take care of all that business. Back to the order of battle. So let's say, like they did in history, we go back to the Confederate Army and we select it. And we send Richard S. Ewell's Corps. We'll detach the entire thing. We'll select it, hit X. And now we have the 19,000 men under the 2nd Corps Army, Northern Virginia. And we could send them to Front Royal. Right there. So you don't have to click on the name. You right-click on a spot down on the map. The other thing to know is they will always... the formation will always take the road. And then that is where they will go. So Ewell's going to head up this way to Front Royal. We'll go back to our OOB. We'll go back to our army. And now we'll select AP Hill. We'll detach him. We'll click on him, again, X. Now we have his 21,000 man corps under our direct control. And just to mirror history a bit, we'll send him here. Okay? And then onward and onward with the rest of the army, really, I would say. Just following along, and we'll have them delay a little. And so now you can push play. Now everybody will get moving. If you want to go faster, you can speed it up in intervals. If you keep clicking, it'll go faster and faster and faster. You can see the commands there. Moving up ahead, we'll let them go forward a little bit, and then we'll take the army and we'll move it there. And there the army goes. And so what you have is, it's a little confusing, I would admit, because it's just one little dude on a horse representing a massive formation of people, and the rest of the map is just super empty. It's not... It's maybe a little difficult to make sense of in that way. So here we go. My cav is about ready to get here, right? So let's get it back to play. Maybe I'll tick it up a couple notches. These guys right here, let's go OOB, and let's say Jeb Stuart wants to detach Wade Hampton's brigade and send him over here to guard this bridge. Oh, can't do that. So you're going to have to send him all the way to Elk Tavern. Okay, I'll select this flag back to General Nobody. We'll send Johnny Jones over here to Warrenton. And that'll be the cavalry's orders. And you can see the army on the move, moving pretty quick. And then we'll take the rest of the cav. Again, right-click to here. Then off they'll go up the road, kind of around the corner here. We'll have a little bit of screening happening down this way. And we'll continue screening with the cavalry through these areas here. And if you encounter the enemy, which can happen, as you can see, they have moved here to Chambersburg, and it looks like they don't have any place else. So it would appear anyway, their whole army has moved here, and now they're out of Chambersburg, moving, I would presume anyway, down this road here. You can go ahead and speed it up some more. Ewell's Corps following the Cav to Salem, and we'll have a defensive stance here. If they attack AP Hill over the river, probably be in trouble. They can't flank me here, and we'll have some scouts out screening out front there. And things will develop how they do in a campaign. But that right there is just a brief look at really a general how to get everybody moving, kind of how to make sense of selecting the right OOB to do a full-fleshed campaign. And I think that it would be very fun to ramp up some difficulty to like historical, put together some alternate history, role play, narrative for some other alternate campaign that takes place in the future. I want to make a series out of it for sure. Here's been the briefest look at how-tos. I hope you've enjoyed, of course. If you like the content, hit that thumbs up button. It helps the video, helps the channel, and helps this great game. Also, subscribe to my channel, Alternate History Gaming, and hit the notification bell to find out the next time I drop a video for you. I'm Bank60s. See you on the next one. Later.